fabric waxing a Flint and Tinder jacket from the US. We're going to be using the Artisan Sun fabric wax. It's an all-natural fabric wax that is wax-based, so no petroleum byproducts in here, no cheap waxes, only natural waxes used in this product, which makes it superior to everything else on the market. In addition to that, I'm going to be using a couple other tools. One's just a fabric scraper by Artisan Sun. It's a hardwood scraper used to smooth over the waxes, any high spots there, and remove any excess. And throughout this, we'll use a couple other simple tools, such as a spray bottle and a hairdryer, just to set out even higher spots there. All right, let's get into it. Just having a look at the fabric. Had a good look at this jacket. This jacket's in really good condition. As you can see, there's no stains or any marks on there or any dirt or soil. With any jacket, you want to make sure it's nice and clean. There's no visible dirt. Any stains are removed prior to waxing there. And then we're going to come through and coat it with a block of Artisan Sun. Depending on the fabric type and the condition of it, will determine how much fabric wax we use. So on this one here, I would say this whole jacket would need at least a medium bar. I'm going to start off with a small one here, just because it's been waxed before. I'll see how that bar goes on. I'll use another bar, another one if needed. A little bit lucky, obviously, I've got lots on hand here. So if you're unsure, I would always go a size up. So a medium, large, or extra large, I always go a size up. Quite a few customers buy 2 extra large bars to make sure that they know they're covered for a jacket or a pair of pants. There's nothing worse than being caught short. So let's get into it. Nice and simple. With Artisan Sun fabric wax, the bar comes in a soft warm bar. So you may be looking at this and you may have seen some other bars on the market that are really hard. You don't want a hard waxy bar because that makes the application so much harder. This glides on, and say I've already done a couple of strokes, and all it is rubbing that fabric wax into the fibers there, and that part's already waxed. See how smooth and consistent that is? And the reason it's so smooth and consistent is the nature of the bar. So the blend of waxes in this bar make it application super easy. So even on that application there, I actually don't need to come through with my fabric wax and scrape that at all because it's so smooth. And that's a terrific application. That's like, you know, a dream application. A couple of advantages going for me. This jacket is such a terrific canvas that's been used, a wax cotton, really close, dense weave. So a quality garment. It's going to make this job so much easier. So coming through, I don't think I have any dramas with this one, so that's beautiful. I'll come through, work the whole jacket, and then come back at the end there and just scrape off any high spots. I will get some high spots around the seams and the edges. You know, don't worry about that whatsoever. I always say, get in there, apply it, and then at the end we can come through and fix it up. So here we go. Just notice a bit of care around the collars here in these seams. And turning the bar, using the bar to get into these seams is always helpful. The corners and the edges, so I'll be using this whole bar, all those little corners and edges there, as I work my way across the jacket. Seams, always going to give them an extra bit of a rub there. And you can see a little bit of wax building up on those seams now. And that's fine, we'll even that off at the end. I'm really happy with that. Once I do a bit of heat treatment at the end there, the wax there will really seal into that seam along there. So it's going to come along, it's going to be terrific at the end there in terms of waterproofing. Another thing is the smell. What sort of smells do you notice? This one here, I tell you what, it is amazing. So it's got a beautiful natural smell to it. A lot of other waxes smell chemically or have a really off-putting odor, this one here is something that I just love the smell on. Very natural, very pleasant. You know, hints of, you know, it smells like you've walked through a forest, and you know you've got those natural aromas from the plants and the trees there. So it smells terrific. So, you know, it often gets asked, well, what does it smell like? It smells bloody amazing, if you ask me. Bloody terrific. Anyway, have a look at the application there. So I've done just the top of the jacket there. How good is it? Look, that application is amazing. Put a bit of water on there to do a test, and as you can see, that's just beading there, just sitting right on the top. I'll wipe it off just so I can finish my application. But yeah, no, this jacket is going to be an absolute pleasure to wax. So well done to the makers of Flint and Tinder. You know, big shout out, American company, doing it right. It is testament to the build of it, or the construction of this jacket. I'm really enjoying this process. And just I'm looking at the seams and the stitches. It is a terrific garment, and one of those garments that, you know, when you wear it, you're going to enjoy it. But, you know, just doing this process, I'm getting a real kick out of waxing this fine garment, because I know that it's gonna last a lifetime. This is not a jacket that's going anywhere soon. It's gonna handle the knocks. You know, this is one of those jackets that, you know, if I was to have a bonfire or, you know, a burn off there, and I was to wear this around a campfire, you know, it's gonna have no dramas. Because one thing that you may know of or may not know of is if you wear a polyester garment. So if you've got a synthetic rain jacket, a rain jacket made out of polyester, plastic, and if you've been around a fire, a bonfire before, any little embers that hit that polyester jacket burn straight through. So there goes your garment. A jacket like this, you can really knock this one around. You can wear it through the bush, the forest, the scrub, and you're going to have no problems whatsoever, because it's going to handle it. And at the same time, how good does it look? And it's only going to get better with age. That's the other thing. These jackets, the more you wear it, the more love you give it, the better it looks. Just the other thing, when you're fabric waxing, you notice that I'm not wearing any gloves. The reason for that is, you know, always check if you've got any allergies or any concerns. Always check with that. But it's all natural, so I know using my hands here is no dramas at all, no problems. But just the control you get when you use your own hands there, you know, I can weave it around the buttons there. It just makes the application so much easier. If you're wearing gloves and you're trying to do this process, you haven't got the same control, and it just, quite frankly, it's not as nice. And, you know, how do my hands feel? They feel amazing. Like, at the end of this process, my hands are going to be silky smooth because of the properties of the natural bar. So it's not a cosmetic product here, but I'm just saying, you know, when you're waxing, you want to know what you're waxing with is all natural. And the other thing is, when you're wearing a jacket like this, you know, you are wearing it near your skin. You are breathing those odors and you know, whatever may be in your product. So you want to know that it's safe. It's not harmful. And a little story on that. I remember using a product. I won't name the company, but there was using a product, and the odor that they basically had some solvents in the product, and the odor that I was breathing in was putrid. It was really something. And, you know, I was thinking when I was wearing that garment, what are the dangers? What's happening with is it good for my health? And quite frankly, I didn't feel comfortable with it. So, you know, that jacket no longer gets worn. So I think, you know, do it once, do it right. Use the best possible product you can get. Just while we're talking about, there is a lot of videos out there showing fabric waxing and many DIY solutions for fabric waxing. And one thing that I noticed with a lot of those DIY solutions, I don't think they're really a solution, but some solutions, is just the ingredients that they use. Be really careful. I wouldn't recommend some of the ingredients that those videos are suggesting. And even the videos that say, you know, we're using a natural blend, are a little bit worried about where they're getting those ingredients, where they're coming from. We've got to be able to trust the suppliers of those ingredients. Artisan Sun, all of the waxes here are Australian made. So it's Australian made, lab certified wax that goes in to the bars. So, you know, you've got the testament, you've got the proof there that what you're using is 100%. So yeah, test assured. All right, so I've spent a little bit of extra time. You can see that I've been going really slow. I've been really enjoying the process. That top quarter is all done. I'll jump across to the next quarter there, give that a wax up there, and work my way across. The question I often asked is when do you need to rewax? And I can see that this needs rewaxing. The fibers on the top of the jacket have become fluffy, so they're sticking up and they're soft. So what that's meaning is that's indicating to me that they're not waterproof. So that soft, fluffy nature of the jacket is not what we need. We need it to have a slick look to it. Another quick test is, you saw me do it before, and that's get a spray bottle, give it a spray and see if the water beads on it. It's a nice easy one. Just with that though, double check. Yeah, it may bead for 1 or 2 seconds, but let it sit for 30 seconds to a minute and see what happens within that time there. So you need to give it a little bit of time there to see just how waterproof the jacket is. And if in doubt, just give it a wax. You know, it's a really enjoyable process, and you can't really go wrong. I've never done it myself. I've never done a jacket where I thought, you know, I've overwaxed it. Well, overwaxing, well, what happens then is we come through and we'll just give it a scrape off. I'll scrape off any excess wax there. I'll remove that wax and away you go. So, you know, don't be scared about that. It's a really great process. And just while we're talking about that, you know, looking after your gear, it is really rewarding. Like, just doing this process is a lot of fun, but really rewarding, because I know that A, I don't have to buy a new jacket. B, I'm doing it right. You know, quite often when you're buying a jacket or a garment there, as we all know, it gets rushed through production. There's time constraints. When you're doing this yourself, you can spend the time and get it right. I'm really working it across these top seams. Water, where is it going to sit? Across the top there. So just rubbing that in there, putting some extra wax across the top there. How good, eh? How good. Yeah, so any XX wax that's building up here, I'm just using my fingers there just to work it around. It's such a workable wax that I'm just using that excess to rub it into the top of the fibers there. I know when it's done because it's not going to accept any more wax. The fabric's there, it's sealing it, and it's not gonna take any more. So we're going really well with this jacket. A couple of other tips and tricks while I'm doing this. You want to avoid waxing fabric that's in contact with your skin. Not because of anything nasty. Well, I've obviously talked about, using a natural product is way superior. It's just the feel of it. So you want to wax the outside of your garment, waterproof the outside, but the inner of your garment, you want to have that cotton feel against your skin. It feels a lot nicer. I have seen jackets waxed, inside and outside. On this jacket, we're not going to do it because it's lined with a beautiful liner, but I have seen some people, dip or pouring wax on and going really crazy. Yes, it will make it more waterproof, but what are you trying to stop? That's the question. You're stopping water from the outside, not from the inside. So avoid that. But question, what about, your buckles, your zips? How does fabric wax go with those, sensitive areas? No dramas at all. Like, have a look at this. I'll work it around. We've got some extra wax on that button there. Just going to wipe it off. And any extra in there, when I come to heat setting this, I'm going to use a hairdryer there just to gently heat some areas there. That will melt down into the fastener there and just seal up any areas around that fastener that may need sealing. So you really can't go wrong, as I've said before. It's all natural. It's not going to do anything to your zippers or your buttons. With your zips, I wouldn't be running it up and down the zip there, clogging your zip, of course, but if you ran across the zipper and got some on there, you've got no drama. Any excess can be removed with a bit of heat as well. So if you did get a bit on your zip line and it was making it a little bit sticky, you could just heat it off there and melt it off your zipper. And when I talk about heat, we're just talking really low heat, like what I'm doing with my hand here. That's friction, and friction is heat. So that little bit of heat is all we need. So it is that easy. as I'm waxing this, you can see, just as an example, if I was to rub that round, I'm getting, you know, excess wax sitting on there, and that's when I know I've got enough, and I'll just move it either around with a bar and come back with the scraper there and move it around, or I can use my hand there as well. On this jacket here, because of the fabric and the way it's been waxed, you know, all I'm really needing is my hand and the bar to do it. It's working really well and efficiently. Obviously, don't forget the seams. You know, a little bit extra there, and obviously I'll come back and to get into those zippers there as well. Sorry, the underneath the storm flaps. And at this point in the stage, I've got enough wax on my fingers here that I can just use the wax on my fingers just to spread it out. Yep. Now, in terms of time, like anything, you could really rush through this. I always think pick a nice day, nice evening, or morning for that matter, when you have got some time, so you don't have to rush it. Nothing worse than having to rush through a project. In terms of temperature, what's the ideal waxing temperature? I always say a warm room or a warm day is ideal. Just helps everything glide that much easier. If it was really cold, the bar would be firmer. It wouldn't be hard, it would be firmer. Would it go on easy? Yes. Just warmer, just makes things glide a little bit easier. You know, if you live in a really cold climate or it's the middle of winter, do it in front of a fire or your heater there. It's the same concept. And don't overthink it, you know. And if you're really not sure, reach out to Artisan Son, get in touch with them. You know, they've been doing this for generations. Reach out and ask the question. Too good. Just a side note, why a bar and why not? You can have a pot you can heat up and paint it on. I always recommend a bar because the control you can get with a bar is far superior. You're getting total control. You can see through this application on the seams and the edges, like, you know, just the pockets before. I had total control along that edge. You can see my little wax line going across there. If I'm to have this in a liquid form, that's going to be running all over the place, which is that's messy and can be really ugly there. So why use a bar? Control. Don't be fooled by gimmicks. You know, heat activated. You know, we're going to make this, we're going to paint it on. Yeah, gimmicks. Come back to something tried and tested. You know, Artisan Son, tried and tested for generations. It's been around for a long time for good reason. If you're looking for a shortcut, this isn't it. Yeah, even that little, I was talking about people making their own. If you're looking to save $1, I personally don't think it's worth it. You know, how do you know what you're doing is correct? There's so many unknowns with that. And for what? For $1 or $2? It doesn't make sense in my opinion, but you know, go for it. If you want to try that, knock yourself out. Just around this top of the jacket there, I want to be extra careful, and what I can do is I can get the wax on my finger there and work it around just with my finger so that I'm not getting it on areas that I don't want it. That's just the beauty. If I was dealing with like the liquid wax, you know, way am I going to be dipping my finger in in hot wax and doing this and burning myself. Like it is safe, effective, and so much fun, you know, so rewarding. All right, really happy with that. Check this theme. I've just come back to this inner button area of the jacket, and I've just noticed that it needs a little bit more wax. So, you know, pop a bit on, give it another 2 rubs or 3. Yeah. Okay, happy with that. Beautiful. All right, how'd we go? So I managed to get the front of that jacket done with half of a medium bar. Why so little on this one here? It is a medium jacket, so it's not huge. It was pre-waxed, and the fabric was in really good condition. You can see this fabric is in really great condition. So not needing a heap, but like I said, we'll still use a large or an extra large, I dare say, on this whole jacket once we're done. All right, onto the sleeves of the jacket, and yeah, just when you're waxing, if you notice any dirt or grime in there, just give it a wipe off. You know, if I was to go back over the dirt and grime, I'm just going to be waxing into the jacket. You know, not the end of the world, but just something to bear in mind. Probably on this sleeve here, you can see, just as I'm rubbing my hand, I'm already waxing that, but you can see the lighter colour of the jacket, just showing that it is in need of a rewaxing. And the lighter colours is coming from the fibres of the canvas again, and as soon as I start to wax it again, you can see the colour changing, slightly darkens, and that's something to note. I had a customer reach out and said, can I do a tinted? Yes, I'll say that again, a tinted fabric wax. And tinted meaning, you know, you put a colour or pigment into the fabric wax to change the colour of fabric wax. And the idea was to make the garment darker. And my simple reply is, once you fabric wax it, it darkens it already. Have a look, darker, lighter. We're getting a slight colour change there. You know, nothing to worry about, not changing the colour at all, it's just making it slightly darker, and it actually helps us and shows us where we've waxed and where we haven't, and what needs a little bit more treatment. When you are fabric waxing, I am doing it on top of the garment here as well. Why on top of the garment? I'm keeping the waxes, obviously, going into the jacket always helps. Doesn't spread it as far. You know, what sort of surface should you wax it on? A hard surface is ideal. What happens if I get it on a bench top or a table top? Just wipe it off. You know, just give it a clean. With a cleaner, just give it a spray and clean it off. I wouldn't be doing this on a material surface such as a fabric couch or sofa or lounge suite, because it'd obviously be seeping into that fabric. So just a hard surface is all you need. As you can see, I'm doing these cuffs here. I'm unbuttoning it. I'm folding the areas I don't want waxed just over, just making sure that they're protected while I'm waxing. Doesn't matter if I touch the other side of the fabric, the inner, the liner. No. How good. Now, when this jacket is done, I'm gonna make the call, but I'm gonna say that this jacket is gonna be better. Yep, I'll say that again. My call, my prediction. Once this jacket has been finished waxing with the Artisan Sun fabric wax, I think it's going to be better. Yes, better than the factory finish on this. Why? Well, obviously when they're making the garment, a limitation, and you can ask any manufacturer of wax clothing what a challenge is, and it's waxing, sorry, not waxing, it's sewing waxed fabric. It is a really tricky material to sew when waxed. So the coating they normally put on, it'll, you know, either they'll buy the fabric waxed already, and it will be lightly waxed. You know, they're not, and the manufacturers of the jackets, the makers of the jacket, can't go to this much time, and also a cost to wax the jacket like this. So the finish is going to be better than factory. It's just simple economics and time. If you're putting this much time and energy and investment into your jacket like this, you know, the manufacturers just simply can't afford to do it most of the time. It's just cost prohibitive. And so, you know, Artisan Sun, reach out to Artisan Sun. They offer a professional waxing service. So if you're not feeling confident with this process, you can get it professionally waxed by Artisan Sun. And also, you know, on a side note there, if you're buying a brand new jacket and you want it to have the best possible waxed finish, you can buy your jacket, buy yourself a bar of Artisan Sun and wax it yourself. Save yourself a few dollars. But you're going to be putting a superior finish on your brand new jacket. And that may seem crazy. What? A brand new jacket? You know, it's not going to be cheap buying that jacket, that investment, and then thinking, oh, I've got to wax it. Well, you're not doing yourself any harm. And getting a brand new jacket and waxing it straight away is going to be sealing it and protecting it straight away. So it's going to stop the stains and the dirts and excessive wear. That's the other thing with waxed fabric. You're prolonging the garment. It's going to be more resistant. So yeah, naturally, you know, it's a natural finish, but it makes your garment a lot tougher. So, you know, I can't, you know, to be honest, why wouldn't you? If you bought a jacket and you're thinking, oh, shouldn't I wax my brand new jacket? I'd just say go for it. Put a quick coat on it. You know, you got nothing to lose. You're going to put a better finish on it than factory. And, you know, the advantages, just, you know, it's going to be more waterproof. It's going to smell better. It's going to wear better. It's going to look better. And yeah, it's just going to last longer as well. You know, the more you wax the jacket, the more care you give it, the longer it lasts. So, you know, pretty simple stuff. Care for your gear, lasts longer. I'll tell you what, this is just, it is an absolute dream, this jacket. Just the quality of the material they've used. Oh, if you could just, you know, just feeling this fabric here, it's amazing. It is really, really amazing. It's got a beautiful feel to it once it's waxed and waxed properly. The under armpit, you can see, and this is interesting as well, some of these areas from factory didn't get a lot of fabric wax on it. So that's what I was saying before. When in doubt, give it a wax. Yeah, this is really much needed to this jacket. You know, when I first started on this jacket, I thought, you know, yeah, it doesn't need much. But the more I get into it, you know, and I really mean getting into it, you know, how many people would be getting underneath the armpit, sealing the seams there? I don't think too many people would be, just leave it, Nobody will look there. Nobody's going to notice. Well, I'm noticing now. And if you're into your gear, you'll notice as well. So, yeah, well worth the waxing on this jacket. A few areas there that missed the waxing process from, I don't know, or maybe it could have even during the manufacture there worn off. When they're running it through their sewing machine or whatever it may have been, but just sealing those seams back up. Wow. Okay, it's looking really good. So the sleeve is all done there. Flipping it over, making sure that all those areas are done. I can always come back to this, but do it once, do it right. The other thing waxing on top of your jacket here is, as I'm working it across these smaller, harder to get areas, like, waxing it across, I'm hitting the jacket again, so I'm not losing any of that fabric wax. It's going back on to other parts of the jacket. So I'm not losing out. And you can see again, using your hands, a little bit of muscle, but you're getting a really good feel for how it's been waxed and any areas that may need redoing. So that's looking great. Okay, onto the second sleeve, and just a point of comparison, have a look there. I'll come up. Pick the pair, waxed, needing a rewaxing. So apart from the look, so the look of waxed fabric as well, once this is set, now we talk about being set, once we've fully waxed the jacket, we're going to let it set. And what setting is, I'll heat set certain areas, so heat setting the seams, and all that means is applying some heat to the seams. That'll level out any high spots of the wax. Once we've done the heat setting of seams and whatnot, we're going to let the whole jacket set. And what that is just putting the jacket in a warm location, a warm spot, and leaving it for a day or two to pull in the waxes and set that fabric. Could you wear it straight away? Yeah, you could, but giving it a day or two, highly advisable, just to let it set. A story that I can tell. I was doing. I had an old jacket, and the old jacket I pulled out of my truck, and it was in a sorry state. It was a really good American jacket. It was actually a Carhartt jacket, that what I called my emergency jacket. One of those jackets that I had knocking around in the back of the truck in case of emergency. And a day did arise where I went out. I was going out hunting. And when I got out of the truck, I noticed that there was going to be a bit of rain on the horizon. I could see the clouds gathering. And I knew that on this particular hunt, I was going to be in for a bit of bad weather. Wind was picking up. It was a bit cooler than I would have liked. And and I was going to need a jacket. So out of the truck, I grabbed my emergency Carhartt jacket, and I thought, uh-oh, I'm in a bit of strife, because it wasn't fabric wax at the time. It was your standard issue Carhartt jacket. Nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't waterproof. It wasn't fabric wax. It was something that was in need of a wax. And I quickly realised that, hey, taking this jacket out isn't going to do the job. It's not going to cut it. I can't wear this Carhartt jacket out into the field hunting with rain on the horizon, not fabric wax. So I was like, you know what? Whip out a bar of Artisan Sun fabric wax, and I waxed it then and there on the spot. So, what I'm doing here, spending a lot of time and care on this jacket here, you can do in the field. You can rewax in the field. So I took this jacket, gave it a wax out in the field, and gave it a quick coat. Now, the reason I'm telling this story is I was talking about letting it set for a day or two. I waxed the jacket, as I'm doing now, and put it on, and out I went hunting. And you're probably thinking, oh, horror story, here we come. No horror story, but just a word of advice. Let it set, because when I went out into the field hunting, it did rain, it was cold, the jacket performed brilliantly. The only thing that let me down was it hadn't set. So the jacket, as you can see here, it's got a bit of tack to it. It looks glossy. It is glossy because the wax hasn't set. And so what happened is, the small little bits of grass seeds and dirt and, sand and soil that I was coming into contact with were just sitting on the jacket. It wasn't sticking to it, just it was sitting on the jacket more than normal. And what happened, it needed a brush off when I got back. So was it a disaster? No, but it was just something that, learn from others. Wax your jacket, let it set, and you're not going to have anything sitting or sticking to your jacket there. So that's the reason we let it set, just to make it more waterproof, more comfortable, and to stop the your grass seeds, your environmental factors sit on your jacket or stay on the jacket there. So yeah, and how's that Carhartt jacket doing that I just told you about in that story? It's going great. It's still in service. I've rewaxed it after the hunting trip. I wore it for a bit and rewaxed it, and I think the jacket will outlast me, which is a bit of a concern, but that's the reality of it. Yeah, still going strong. And I think most of the time when you fabric wax jackets, pants, vests, or anything, you extend the life by so much. That's the other thing, is you're really adding life to it, that value as well. Like I'm not sure if you've ever had a jacket that you don't like anymore, or it doesn't quite fit, or doesn't meet your needs, and you think, hey, I want to move this on. If you were to sell a jacket that's been fully waterproof and fabric waxed, you're going to have no dramas. Like, customers are going to appreciate that, or people buying a jacket, they're looking for a jacket that's going to perform straight away. So you're adding value, resale value to your garments. We don't often think about that, but quality clothing that you're spending time fabric waxing, they're the items that do sell. People are always going to be after them. And the other thing, people are always going to be after them and chasing them or wanting to buy them secondhand, is because it's going to last. If you get a nick or a tear, you can sew it up, and when you do sew it, what do? Grab out your bar of Artisan Sun fabric wax and treat the fabric that's been sewn. Away you go again. So it is it's a wonderful cycle. Use, clean, reuse, reapply the wax when needed. cycle goes on, and you'll have some great stories to tell as well. Another story I can tell while I'm doing this is a gentleman I know that actually manufactures his own clothing now. And he told me a wonderful story I'll tell you now. About the time he went hiking, and this is before he learnt about natural fibres for garments, and he was wearing some polyester garments. And when he went hiking in his polyester garments, he didn't realise at the start the apparent dangers. And the danger lied not within, being outside exposed to the elements, but the element of danger was, it came to cooking. So one night he went to cook, in particular bad weather, and sheltering within, yet again, polyester tent. And as we all know, the dangers of cooking around those types of fabrics can be really dangerous. He didn't have any other option, so cooking and sheltering in this tent, and obviously he was following guidelines. You didn't have the tent closed up; there was ventilation, so he was doing the right thing. But what happened is the cooker got knocked over by accident, and proceeded to, the flames to catch onto the tent. But what was more worrying was that the garments, the clothes that they were wearing, also caught alight. And I've never been in that situation, but how scary having a jacket or pants or some garments that you're wearing on fire. That would be absolutely terrifying. We know, we have got to be careful around fire, but imagine the garments you're wearing is then the fire hazard. So really scary stuff. He did get some burns. He is okay now, but after that event, guess what? He manufactures high quality Australian made waxed fabric garments. So it's a great story, not a feel-good story, but a great story just to illustrate why we do what we do. Why do we spend time and money and effort using cotton canvas, 100% cotton canvas, and waxing it? Why do we do that? Well, our health, our safety, and let's be honest, also, it is the look. This jacket, when it's on, the patina it's going to develop is going to be amazing. And the patina that I talk about is this. I'm not sure if the old one's going to do it for me, but if I'm to bunch the fabric up, you can see it starting to patina there. It's got those lovely little lines that come through it. That's the patina that wax fabric can give you. I love the look of that patina. If you don't like the look of it, you can mitigate that, and that's by, keeping it well waxed. But, most of the time, wearers of fabric wax, they love the advantages, and they love the look. Okay, so, coming back over that sleeve, checking underneath the armpit again, because I noticed that on the other one that was really, really dry. It wasn't. When I say dry, it wasn't waxed. Flipping that all over. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, coming onto the back. All right, there we go. So I've started to wax a little bit up the top there, but the rest is to be done. I'm down to a little stub. That was a medium bar. In comes a brand new bar, and away I go. The large bar, like I've already said, large bar would have been perfect for this jacket. I've used 2 mediums. To do this again, if I was to recommend something, I'd go straight to the large or the extra large bar there. and save yourself a little bit of money at the same time. If you had a really small jacket, yeah, maybe you could get away with a medium, but most of the time the large or the extra large is where you're gonna go. Alright. The other thing I should mention is don't be afraid to use the side of your fabric wax bar. If I'm doing large areas, you can see that I can use the side there and I can apply a large amount in a short amount of space. So, how good. Alright, so up next, just going to go over the whole jacket, make sure that I've got all the little seams, and then onto the heat setting or the heat treatment of some seams. Alright, so I've gone over, given a good wax. Have a look at the water bouncing off that. So, yeah, it's turned out really well. The fabric looks amazing. It's waterproof. All that is left to do now is some heat sealing, just a bit of heat treatment on some seams and some buttonholes, and that's as simple as using a hairdryer, which I'll show you now. So I've got a hairdryer. I'm just going to set it on a low heat. Does this have to be done? No, it doesn't have to be done. I just want this jacket looking amazing. So I'm going to use it to take out any high spots that may be on the jacket. When I say a high spot, so see around these seams here, we've got some wax sitting. So that's going to seal that off and pull it into the stitching, and just flatten out any wax build-up, especially around some buttonholes here. So is it needed? No, but it just gives it for a professional look there. Alright, nice low heat, low fan. Let it warm up. As you can see, it's not hot at all. It's just warming up. As it starts to warm up, you start to set it. Still not warm enough. Warm up a bit more. Got it warm, so I'm just playing around with the temperature at the moment. And the reason I'm playing around with the temperature, I just want it warm, the warm heat. Don't want it hot, just warm, not burning the fabric. All I'm doing is just warming it and just warming the fabric wax around the areas that's a little bit higher or got a bit of the excess is accumulated. So as I'm heat treating a few areas around the seams, I also just use a rag there to wipe off any excess. If I've got too much, I can wipe that off. But generally, I'm just going to be just rubbing it in. I didn't leave a lot of excess on this jacket. So just simply rubbing it in, moving it around is enough. But if need be, I can come through with a rag and just wipe off any excess. And it's as simple as that. So I'll go over the whole jacket and just heat seal some of those seams. Alright, there you have it. Finish the heat treatment, and you can just see how wonderful this jacket now looks. It's ready. So it's heat treated. It's been cooled, and what's left now is just a day, 2 days, just to let it set. With the heat treating, it does do wonders. Heat treatment sets it, makes the process faster. So, I'm confident in a day this will be ready for action. 1 or 2 days, as I recommended, but in a day this will be ready to go. Other than that, beautiful jacket, fully waxed and ready to go.